Hello, my name is Matej Guid, and let me introduce InstaText. I'm often asked what is InstaText and how is it used for academic research and academic writing. So let me give you a presentation and I hope you will enjoy. So the idea of InstaText is to help us to write like a native speaker. And by using artificial intelligence and language technologies, InstaText enables to automatically improve English text and creates recommendations and ideas on how to improve the content and make it more readable and understandable. Now, most of the team comes from the academic environment. My background is in artificial intelligence. I've been involved in AI since 2005. I was also nominated for the award for the best PhD thesis in Europe from the field of AI in 2010. But I have to add that I did not get that award. So just maybe the dissertation was not written clearly enough. And this is a common problem in academia. We have to communicate difficult concepts in a clear and effective manner in order to be understood. And especially in academia, effective written communication is the key to success. Now, several tools emerged in the past decade or two. So spell checkers became in a way perfect, but they don't address the right problem. Grammar checkers offer more suggestions, but they stick too much to the original text and don't offer enough recommendations for academic writing and for non-native speakers in particular. And translation tools are becoming better and better, like Google Translate already translates well from other languages to English, but we all know that the text then needs to be improved. So obviously there is a missing tool, and in particular for non-native speakers. Now, in this recent book by Springer, 100 Tips to Avoid Mistakes in Academic Writing and Presenting, the authors from reputable editing house argue that it's not vocabulary or grammar that will get your paper accepted. No, it's more about readability, about conciseness. So they propose a solution that the paper should be easy to read, should be easy to understand. And this is achieved by writing clearly and concisely, by carefully structuring not only each section, but also each paragraph and each sentence. We all know when we are reviewers, a paper is clearly written, then we are far more likely to provide constructive arguments and even perhaps give more positive evaluation because of that. We also all know that we spend sometimes maybe 20 minutes on a single paragraph and so. So yes, a lot of time is spent on writing, but also in general, this another book, Writing Your Journal Article in 12 weeks. Yes, when you are a young researcher, perhaps you have 12 weeks in a row to write a paper, but later it's hard to find even 3 days in a row. So often this results that this process is so long. This results in having multiple papers in a pipeline. Sometimes we need, maybe after obtaining good results, months. And in some cases, with multiple authors, co-authors, we even spend years into seeing the paper being published in a good journal. Now, project writing proposal is another topic where writing is extremely important. Here are some slides by European Commission. They're all about clarity, about conciseness, how to make our proposals really well understood. So in a way, these proposals must be perfect nowadays, perfectly written, because there is such a big competition in this field, and otherwise our chances to be accepted are really close to zero. Another topic are students writing. Students are usually not good at writing. Then we are often in a dilemma: should we give feedback regarding the style, the maybe vocabulary, maybe other text-related issues? but it would be so much better to provide them technical feedback on and feedback on content, what to really improve. So we spend a lot of time here. And then there are also teaching materials, maybe reviews and important emails where we want to look good, but we clearly don't have budgets for external proofreaders. So in academic writing, the writing process actually consists of several phases. One, so we have a draft. There comes a crucial phase of reviewing, rewriting, and revising in one word editing, where we typically add more content, more details. We want to write the text more efficiently. Maybe we restructure the text and so on. So it is usually the editing phase that will get our paper accepted. If we only had some real-time support at this really crucial phase of writing, it would be so much easier and better. So even before the final proofreading, it is the phase of the writing process where we usually have no one that would help us in real time. Now, ideally, we would have a tool that would correct each of our paragraphs, rewrite each of our paragraphs in a way a native speaker would do it. And especially if this native speaker was competent in English and competent also in our domain. But as authors of the text, we also want to retain some control over our writing and be able to reject or accept particular suggestions and ideas. And this is already a screenshot of InstaText. Now, how does this help? It turns out that the acceptance rates at conferences increase dramatically for the people who use it. The English language, at least, is always receiving the best mark. And here is one of our own review. This paper was in a pipeline for years. It was like 50 pages in a Word document. And we always knew we cannot finish this paper in maybe not even a week, because it wasn't really well written, but the research was sound. So one day we sat in front of a big screen and we went to improve with InstaText paragraph by paragraph. And here was the review, one of them, but they all look similar. The paper is more readable and clear, easier to follow, significantly helping understanding, and changes in terminology, text organizations, and more detailed information allow better understanding the overall message. This is the output from the program. We, let's say, when we receive a text from a proofreader, we have some words marked with green. These are the new suggested ideas and words, and the red ones, the previous text, is crossed out. So here I would like to draw your attention to the second and the third row. It's more connected between each other. This is typical non-native speakers English. And InstaText would change this to is strongly interconnected, or in this particular case, tends to be linked. And this is exactly this kind of ideas that we don't get usually at the time of writing. If we don't find a solution, we just know that it's more connected between each other, somehow doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound good to native speakers. But if we don't find a solution in maybe 10 or 15 seconds, we'll move on to the next paragraph and it will stay there forever. So InstaText not only corrects grammar and spelling, but also helps us to communicate effectively, to write clearly, concisely, to produce high quality and efficient sentences. And since this help is in real time, it just takes a couple of seconds to obtain this output and ideas by the program. It really boosts our productivity. We can write so much faster and so much more. People also noticed that they improve their English in time and learn how the text should sound. So more from afar, it maybe looks a bit like Google Translate. You put your text on the left, click the button, and obtain the solution or rewritten text on the right side with clearly marked suggestions. So it really gives you an opportunity to read the whole, let's say, paragraph at once and understand how the text should sound, as this professor nicely said. So she said, like, when I read through the proposed improvement, I immediately understand how the text should sound. It's like a proofreader you can access at any time. There are several tools that then enable us to work with the text effectively. So we are familiar with tracking changes toolkit from MS Word. So accept, reject particular change, accept all remaining changes, or reject all remaining changes, undo, and so on. We can also change the level of markup. So we can read the new version of the text with just slightly highlighted new words. We can also use a mouse to accept or reject particular suggestions. And we can copy the text finally to the clipboard and paste it wherever we want. So at this point, let me run a video that will help you understand how the product is used.
Welcome to InstaText, your personal writing assistant. It will help you write better English in no time. Just paste or enter your text into the left field and send for improvement. You can revise all improvements with Tracking Changes Toolkit. Or review suggestions with a mouse click. You can hide or show text changes for easier readability. You can even edit the improved text manually. Let's change this word. And this one. And let's delete this. Now let's finalize the improvements. And copy the new text. All set. InstaText. Write better English.
Okay, so I hope you now have an idea how the tool is used. Now, here are some common questions that we often receive. So how is InstaText different than Grammarly? Well, those people who use the premium versions of both tools, they know that they are quite different tools and maybe also for different purposes. So Grammarly corrects your text on the fly, which is maybe nice when you are writing an email, but InstaText is based on a different technology and it goes much deeper. It offers more ideas for text improvement. And also sometimes Grammarly just tell you how to read sentence, and this never happens with InstaText. InstaText always give you concrete solutions and also makes it easier to understand them in context. Another view is that Grammarly usually stays too closely to the original text and don't offer enough ideas. So InstaText would rather give you more ideas, and you would maybe reject 10 to 20% of them, but at the end, your text will sound better. The readability and understandability will be improved. Now, several people compare the tool favorably online, but let's return to the testimonials when we go to academic writers. So let me return back to that slide with the writing process. It turned out that when using InstaText, basically no one seeks for external help for proofreading anymore. And just to give you an idea how important the editing phase is, proofreading a paper costs between 80 euros or maybe dollars to $250, depends on the length of the paper, but editing a paper costs between $300 and $1,000 when using native speakers online. So usually we cannot afford that help. Still to remind you that it's still not in real time and doesn't allow you to work interactively and iteratively to improve your paper. Now, here are some benefits that the users of InstaText particularly value. So this help of having the tool to work interactively and in real time is highly appreciated. Helps them to express their ideas clearly and concisely. And many case studies show that it drastically increases acceptance rates at conferences, for example, and shorten the time to publication to journal also drastically. Research institutes use it a lot for submitting project proposals. I also discussed costs. Some universities or organizations even shifted the entire budgets for external proofreaders to the tool and still saved a lot of budget. But very interesting it was that to learn that it helps people to write text in new original way. For example, you go to a conference, you are invited to a journal, you must add 30% of the new original content. And of course, you don't want the past text to be just a copy paste. Or another case, some colleague of ours was talking to someone from the National Institute of Chemistry, and he says, I got my paper accepted in a journal with impact factor more than 10. And I was the sole author and it was just a minor revision. She asks, how did you do that? He says, I can answer in just one word, InstaText. So then we were curious, what was it about? What was this paper about? And it turned out it was a review paper where you can imagine there is a lot of copy paste from different sources before adding your new conclusions and content and so on. This capability of rephrase and paraphrase particular paragraphs or sentences is particularly useful as well. Now here's one case study where they actually provided us a 6-page document with testimonials, all users claiming that the tool was really useful. They really became successful. Now suddenly the number of papers published in high-level journals doubled within 1 year and still keeps increasing in 2021 and on. And here is a professor of English language who pointed out an interesting observation. The better you are at English, the more you profit from the tool because you are more skilled then with accepting and rejecting particular suggestion, maybe re-edit and re-improve the text and so on. Now it's already used by tens of thousands of researchers online. We were also Startup of the Year some years ago in our country. But let me point out this interesting review by a PhD student. So I find InstaText very helpful. Makes me much faster in writing papers. I'm a perfectionist. We usually all are in academia and usually spend way too much time finding the right words and making sure that the sentences are easily readable, even if the concepts are arbitrarily complicated. So this is exactly what happens. We have to communicate difficult concepts in understandable way. So InstaText makes her life easier, and she also recommended it to other PhD students and researchers, even to native speakers, a well-known University of California, Berkeley. All these reviews are Google reviews, so they are all authentic, of course, and you can find many more on our website. It's easy to sign up. You can just press on start using, even use a Google button to immediately enter the tool and start using it. So the idea is really to help you to write like a native speaker and at the same time to improve your academic writing. Now, some more advanced features, a personal dictionary, which is a tool that enables you to keep your professional language or personal style. For example, time series prediction and time series forecasting are both okay. They can be used for the same meaning, but let's say we have in our book time series prediction all the time. So I don't want InstaText to change this to time series forecast. We enter stop changing time series prediction to time series forecasting, and InstaText will not correct this anymore. Or maybe we can have terms like argument-based machine learning. Don't ever change argument-based machine learning to anything else. We can use language settings. So in order to fix the UK or US language, depends on the journal or conference we are submitting our work. We would usually use formal language in our papers, in our manuscripts. And just to remind you, this will actually help you to really write like a native speaker by using the vocabulary of the native speakers, which can be quite different sometimes. The upcoming browser extensions will now enable also to use InstaText in Gmail, in Google Docs, Outlook Online, and MS Word Online within Office 365. Then Overleaf, if you prefer working with LaTeX documents. Also collaboration tools like WhatsApp and Slack. And then social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And just to give you a feeling how it looks like in Word Online, here is a screenshot from Google Docs. You are able to simply select a particular paragraph and improve it on the fly within the same tool. So that would be my brief presentation. This is how you can contact our sales team. And please go to the website and try the tool. You have 14 days free trial available. So thank you, and hope you will enjoy the tool.